Today's episode is brought to you by Positively Productive Systems, whose mission is to be the antidote to your stress and to provide compassionate productivity resources and coaching that help you heal and achieve. Be sure to check out both free and paid resources at positivelyproductive.com/resources.
At the end of the day, human design really just focuses on everyone playing their strengths and bringing their gifts and talents to the table for everyone's benefit, right? It's a win-win situation if we are all sharing our gifts for everyone to benefit from. So that's why human design can be so empowering, because once you take ownership of who you are, the things that you like, the things that you're good at, you can see how those three things align are a very powerful combination and will take you anywhere you want to go.
You're listening to the Positively Living podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Zaratny, founder of Positively Productive Systems and a coach certified in time and stress management, helping clients make space for what matters most in their lives. Join me each episode and we'll talk about decluttering, stress management, habits, personalized productivity, gratitude, and so much more. I understand the overwhelm of life because I'm a wife, mom to kids and cats, and a former caregiver. I'm here to help you choose what's right for you so you can do less, live more, and breathe easier. Sound good? Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Positively Living podcast. I'm your host, Lisa, and today's episode continues our quest for self-awareness and exploring different tools we can use to inform our choices and strengthen relationships with ourselves and the world around us. In prior episodes, we've discussed different personality and strength assessments, and I've worked with many of them. Today's topic, human design, is completely new for me. I'm learning along with you, and because I lean toward the science side, this one is honestly a bit of a challenge. However, I know and work with so many spiritual people that I've learned to set aside my preconceived notions and be open to a deeper world around us. So we'll explore this together and do as Bruce Lee says, absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. My guest today is Carolina Wikstrom, originally from Colombia and a mom of two. She discovered human design when she was trying to navigate being a new mom in a new country. It allowed her to find herself again, and since then she's been studying, practicing, and now sharing everything she knows about human design. In our conversation, we discuss where the human design system came from, what it involves, and the 5 energy types. If you know the types or have heard of any of them, I'm a manifesting generator, and we discuss that a bit too and connect it to being multi-passionate. You'll find out the next steps to take to look up your human design and how to get in alignment fastest by pulling 2 details from your chart right away. From there, it's a matter of taking the information and using it within the context of your life. What I've learned about all of these assessments, whether you agree with them or not, is that they encourage a conversation we've been lacking, one that prompts you to ask what you're meant to do and how you work best. More importantly, understanding you glean from this conversation then gives you the authority you need to lean into it. We have a deep need to be validated and to be given permission to show up authentically. If this system helps you do that, then I'm all for it. I'd love to know what you think about human design. Are you new to it? Does it resonate with you? Message me on Instagram, positively_Lisa, with your thoughts and any other assessments you'd like me to cover on the podcast. Welcome, Carolina Wikstrom, to the Positively Living podcast. Today, we are talking about human design, but I'd love it if we could start with you telling us a bit about who you are, who you help, and what makes you light up.
Thank you so much. I'm a human design guide. I am originally from Colombia. I'm a mom of 2. I currently live in London with my family. I discovered human design about 3 years ago, and it completely changed my life. And it's through learning about human design and applying that knowledge to my life that I found my purpose, really. And so that's the thing that lights me up, sharing this knowledge with everyone I can. Yeah. And so thank you for having me.
You know, when you first told me about this, there was a phrase you used, and I hope I can get it right, where, you had come across this concept before of human design, and then it came back to you, and you were almost like it found me again.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. First came across it maybe in 2017, and I don't think I was ready yet for all of this. And it was later in 2019 where I say it found me because I honestly cannot remember where I came across it again. But then it totally captured my curiosity, and I started to learn more about it and listen to every podcast and bought books about it and really started to like learn more about it. And the more I learned, the more intrigued I became. And at some point, I was kind of like, no, this thing just fascinates me. I need to know everything. And so I started to officially become a reader. So we started to officially like I've taken classes and courses and doing self studies, and it's been a journey. I love human design, and not only from a personal perspective, like it has completely transformed my life, my relationships, the way I see myself, and obviously my whole career situation.
So let's back it up a bit and help us understand, take a synopsis of the research and the work that you've done so that we understand what exactly it is, where it came from, and what this construct and this assessment is.
Of course, so human design is essentially how our unique energy moves within us and the way we are supposed to use that energy to interact with the world. We all have a different energy signature, a different blueprint, which makes sense because we all have different faces and bodies, and we're all unique. So it makes sense that our energy will be unique as well. This all came to be because Ra Uru, who is the person who channeled this knowledge, just, I guess, got this download from, he calls it the voice, and he just got all this information. And it essentially combines astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and the chakra system. And it combines all of these methodologies into one system that allows us to understand the way our energy, yeah, connects within us and what that means for us as we navigate our lives.
Okay, so with this, so it's combining a lot of different things that I would term mystical or spiritual. Do you need to be those things and believe in those things to benefit from human design?
I'd say it helps because obviously faith helps in these things. You kind of have to believe. But to me, is when people ask me this type of question, it's like, do you believe in love? You can see it, you can prove it, but it's there, you can feel it. So when it comes to these things, because they're a little bit like mystical, like a little bit, it's energy, so it's hard to see. It's not like we don't see it in this 3D world that we live in, but it's there. You can sense the energy of someone when they walk into a room. We always talk about like, oh, this person doesn't give me like a good vibe. Like I don't get a good vibe from them. And this type of language is like very casual, but we all know what it means because we all feel it. So we all know it's not like nonsense. Like these are real things.
Right. It's part of why I wanted to have this conversation because, I do come from the science side of things, but I also know that there are greater things out there that we don't necessarily know about. And I like to stay open to them. And so I want to ask on behalf of, the listeners that how we can approach this and what we can take from it, regardless of our perspectives.
100%. In my case, I have a background in computer science, business, and finance. So I've always been kind of interested in these topics, but always very skeptical,
Mhm.
very much in this 3D world. Like numbers made sense, logic, things that I could see, that I could make sense of. But when I came across this system, even though I couldn't prove it was real, I knew it worked because it made sense for me and for my partner and for my kid. And the more I learned about it, the more I start to share with people. It resonates with everyone I've ever shared with it. I honestly have never had a client that's been kind of like, no, that's not me. So there's truth in it. I can't prove it, but in my experience, it works. I mean, that's all I have to say about that. As I mentioned, I also come from a very was a really scientific background, and this feels a little bit more like woo out there.
Yeah.
But every scientific discovery started with like an idea and trying to prove something that you couldn't really see. So maybe that's where we're at right now with this.
I think that's a really good point. And with that, all the things we talk about on the podcast are all about making the choice, like what feels right, what resonates, because there are things that are proven to work that don't necessarily resonate with you because of how you work best. So given that, thank you. Thank you for answering that, because it's definitely an important part of this to kind of figure out what our perspective is and what we can take from it. So with that in mind, I understand that there are sort of different, would it be energy types, if you will? Could you walk us through the basic types that we're dealing with in human design?
Of course. So in human design, we have many different elements that when they come together, essentially make you who you are as a unique being. One of those elements is energy type. So energy type is essentially the main way in which someone is supposed to navigate life and interact with the universe. There are 5 energy types, and they all have different characteristics and gifts and talents. And the best part about it is that I don't think there's one that's better than the other. They kind of all complement each other. And so what that means is that each one of us has a very special role to play in life, as long as we honor who we were born to be. So the 5 energy types are generators, who are here to do the things they love. And in doing the things they love, they create energy for others and for the rest of the world to live from that energy that they generate, which is why they're called generators. The manifesting generators are people who are kind of like generators, but kind of like with an extra set of batteries. They have a little bit more power in the sense that they are multi-talented and they can juggle multiple things at the same time. But that also means sometimes they feel like they need to stick to one thing and don't allow themselves to fully embrace themselves, because they feel like I need to be this one thing. And the role in life is to actually show us that you can be anything that you want, and you don't need to fit one mold. They're essentially here to break the mold, to show us that you can be everything and anything you want. Then the next type is projectors, who are guides. They're here to advise us, to provide insights. They're very smart. They can see people deeply. They can zoom out and see situations from bird's eye view. And so often they can see things before the rest of us can see them. And to them, that seems kind of obvious, but it's because they're so smart and so insightful. They can like see how things work, where things are moving towards before everyone else even has a clue. Then we have the manifestors. They are here to innovate. They are here to kind of like download the crazy ideas and share them with the world to help us move forward as we continue to evolve, right? So they are very independent. They have very bold personalities. They can be polarizing, but the advice is always to embrace that power and trust that the right people will always follow them and support them no matter what. And the rest, they can let it go. I mean, at the end of the day, not everyone's going to like everyone, right? So it's not the manifestor's job to make everyone like them. And last but not least, we have the reflectors, who are very special. It's only about 1% of the population. And they are here to, they're very wise. They are essentially here to provide us with an objective assessment of how we are doing as a society. They go through life essentially experiencing what it feels to be like everyone else. They are extremely sensitive. So they get to experience what it feels to feel like Tom and Susan and Jackie and everyone. And then through that experience, they develop this deep wisdom and they can share with us. They're essentially the elders of our society. Like they're here to like share that deep wisdom that they develop through their life. So that in a nutshell are the 5 energy types. And you can see how everyone has their own unique gift in a way in which we can support the collective.
Okay, so I wrote down generator, projector, manifester, and reflector.
And manifesting generator.
And then the manifesting generator is its own, which I think is very cool. And we talked a little bit about that, right? Because that's what came up for me.
Yeah, that's your energy type.
And we also talked a little bit about how there may be a multi-passionate connection. So I'd love it if you would speak to that a bit, because that is perfect for my listeners.
Of course. So the manifesting generator is one of the 5 energy types. And I'm going to make a warning, because human design is never going to tell you you can be this or you can do that. Me saying that manifesting generators are multi-passionate doesn't mean that anyone else can be. But manifesting generators do have this characteristic in themselves. What I mean by that is they are people who can have multiple jobs at the same time, multiple different types of careers going on at the same time. They are kind of like a combination between generators and manifestors. So they both have the energy to initiate and get things going, but also have the energy to work on it and see it through. So these are often the types of people that you come across and they're like, yes, I have my day job and then I run marathons on the weekend and I have a band at night and I also read and I do and I'm learning language and everyone's like, when on earth do you have the energy and find the time to do all these things? But manifesting generators are very efficient with their time. They're very quick. And this is obviously an advantage, but can also be a disadvantage when they're not careful. And in an effort to be quick and efficient, they skip steps and could make mistakes. So it comes with the territory kind of thing. So manifesting generators often get frustrated when they realize that, but it's one of those things that it is what it is. And the faster you let it go, the easier you'll be able to move on. But also, they tend to get frustrated because, as I mentioned before, they are quicker than everyone else. And they don't realize that it's them who are quicker and efficient and not that everyone else is slow. For everyone else, it looks like they're moving twice as fast. And everyone's just trying their best to keep up, and we can't. And for the manifesting generator, it looks like everyone is moving in slow motion and they get so frustrated because they don't understand why everyone is so slow. So that's just a piece of advice to give others some grace and realize that you are gifted in that area and you're faster and more efficient and not everyone else is. But this also means that especially bosses are really good at recognizing who's more efficient in their team. Often the manifesting generator ends up with a huge workload compared to everyone else because, quote unquote, they can. Like they have the energy to do it and they're more efficient. But the reality is that manifesting generators are here to do the things they love. So if they say yes to all these things, it takes away energy from doing the things that they love. So the advice is always just say yes to the things that really resonate here, not the things that they feel like they should do. Especially when it comes to the workplace, like, why are you working more than anyone else? That makes no sense.
I think that's life advice, though, Carolina. I mean, because what you're talking about is what I coach as a productivity coach. It's like saying yes to the things that really energize you and light you up and saying no to the things that don't. Now, I understand sometimes we are in situations where we're not able to say no as much if you're talking about, being in the workforce versus being your own boss. But the more that you are able to play to your strengths, play to the things that really call to you, the more you'll succeed with those. So I think that even the human design system aside, this is like life advice, life life lessons 101 right here to take with us.
Sure. And at the end of the day, human design really just focuses on everyone playing their strengths and bringing their gifts and talents to the table
Mhm.
for everyone's benefit, right? It's a win-win situation if we are all sharing our gifts for everyone to benefit from. So that's why human design can be so empowering, because once you take ownership of who you are, the things that you like, the things that you're good at, you can see how those three things align, are a very powerful combination, and will take you anywhere you want to go.
I think right there too, the idea of taking ownership about, feeling confident in the choices that you're making, regardless of what they are. So, speaking of being confident, how do we take your advice and your guidance today and run with it? What are some of the first steps that we can take, especially if human design is new to us, but also if we have kind of looked up what energy type we are? What would you say would be the next best step to take with this information?
So, two answers there. The step one is to look up your human design. You will need your day, time, and place of birth, and it will give you a graph. Probably be very overwhelming, but on the side, it will have listed all the aspects of your chart. So it would have something like energy type, authority, signature, strategy, not self, and all this profile. All the things will be listed on the site. So you don't need to be an expert trying to make sense of the chart itself. So the first thing you need to look is energy type, and that energy type has a strategy that you're here to follow to essentially attract all the good things that you need and you want. And then the authority is the way you are supposed to make your decisions. And it's different for everyone. So when you combine those two, like everything else kind of falls into place, because the combination of those two is the fastest way to get in alignment with your design and your purpose and your true authentic self. Now, the second part of my answer is, if you really want to learn more about human design, the fastest way is to book a reading, because the person, obviously, I would love it if it's me, but whoever you choose, they will have this knowledge and they can translate for you all the things in the chart and also walk you through what each one of those means and how they all come together. Because at the end of the day, we're all more than just the sum of our parts. It's a combination of everything that makes us unique. So how the different elements play with each other. And that's why I think, yes, having some basic knowledge of human design, it's really helpful. But actually getting a reading, it's the best way, because it's, like you mentioned, it's a bit of an art. It needs some sort of deep understanding of the knowledge to see how the different energies play together, how it all comes together in your own unique puzzle.
Okay, that works. And that does remind me of one of my favorite phrases is the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
And that's exactly it in human design. Like you can go and find out your profile and your energy type and your authority and your designation and your gates and everything. And it's a combination of everything. But at the end of the day, it's like the emerging patterns that come from having the different combinations that can come from all those things that make you special, make you unique.
Okay. I think that is a fantastic place to wrap up. Now I have some bonus fun questions for you to wrap up our episode. Are you ready for them?
As ready as I want to be.
The first one, just fill in the blank, is the song that always makes me dance, that lights me up, makes me happy, is?
Honestly, it's a song from Colombia growing up. It's a song my parents used to listen to when I was growing up. It's called Isla para Dos, and it's about this guy that's creating this beautiful world for his loved one. And it's an island for the two of them. And it just, I don't know, for whatever, like growing up with my parents and my family, like that always just meant love for me.
I love that. If you can find it online anywhere for me and send me the link, I'll put it in the show notes because it sounds very sweet. How about a quote or mantra that I share most often or inspires me?
Love life and life will love you back.
Love that one. Okay. And how about a resource, a book or an app, aside from human design, that just has made my life better?
For me, it's been an Instagram account, To Be Magnetic, and it's Lacey Phillips created the brand, and it's about it goes hand in hand with this journey of human design. It's about truly peeling away the layers of conditioning and everything that's not us in order to truly get in touch with our authentic self, like our core self. Mm-hmm. Everyone growing up, it doesn't matter how privileged you are, everyone has things they go through and they mark us and they take away a bit of our essence. So it's a matter of like getting back to that essence. That's very important. And that's one of the main themes of human design, but I find that particular tool very useful for this. So yeah, I mean, it's a big brand in the holistic world. I've been using their membership for 2 years, and it's really, truly changed my life.
Okay. If that's something you can send me information on as well, I'll put that in the show notes. And then last, but definitely not least, what are you grateful for today?
Particularly today, I am grateful for the life me and my husband have created. It was our anniversary yesterday. And so we were celebrating. It's been 6 years. When we got married, we were living in New York. And then I got pregnant. We moved to London with our baby there. Now our baby girl is here with us. And it just feels like we've gone through quite a lot together. And we're still very, very much in love and happy to be each other's person. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that. Especially because at some point in my life, I felt like it was maybe my destiny to be alone. And I was fine with that. With the moment I became okay with that is the moment he showed up. So yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I am grateful that you took the time to join us today and share your wisdom and your perspective with us. And so grateful that you're shining your light in this world and that you shared it with us. Thank you for joining me today. Your time is precious and limited, and I'm honored you chose to spend it with me. If you have feedback, questions, or want to schedule a chat, head to positivelyproductive.com/connect. And if you are looking for any of the resources referenced on the podcast, from books to products to training and more, go to positivelyproductive.com/resources.